Buenas tardes, amigos y amigas de Oklahoma City. Bienvenidos a su programa Let's Tango OKC. Yo soy el señor Jorge Hernández y les agradezco que están aquí con nosotros hoy en este día. Hoy vamos a tener el placer y el honor de entrevistar al el Councilman Todd Stone. Estamos aquí en las oficinas de la ciudad, aquí en Downtown. Y pues bueno, lamentablemente nuestro amigo no habla español, así que voy a hacer la entrevista en inglés para que podamos pues platicar más tranquilos, pero les pedimos que por favor se queden con nosotros. Le voy a pedir a miembros de mi equipo que por favor traduzcan los puntos claves y por favor con toda cierta libertad de toda confianza de mandarnos la pregunta en español y haremos lo mejor para traducirla. Good afternoon, folks. Yes. Oh, don't hit the table. I keep hitting the table. Good afternoon, folks. Thank you very much for being here today. Welcome to this program that we like to call Let's Tango OKC. Today we have the privilege and the honor to be here at City Hall with our good friend and City Councilman Todd Stone. Thank you, Councilman, for allowing us this opportunity to visit with you and for opening the doors. Tell us a little about this room that we're in.
So this room is, well, first, thank you for this opportunity for me. But this room is our executive conference room. So when we're having a council meeting and we have an executive session,
yes, sir.
We come into this room, and it's usually to discuss something that we can't legally discuss in public. So we come in here. And it's limited to, our city clerk, city staff comes in and they will talk to council about that particular item and only that particular item, and then we're able to discuss it.
So this is where the big decisions are being made.
There's some big decisions made in here, and there's been. It's interesting, we're out of public eye.
Yes.
But we are limited to only those topics that we have to come in here for. We can't discuss anything else. And the city clerk makes sure that we stay on task with that. If someone brings up something else, they're immediately, nope, we aren't talking about that.
I remember this room because I used to come down here when I was the executive director at historic Capitol Hill, Main Street. And we have to come in here and kind of talk about what our plans were and how we were using the funds and what our plans were moving forward. And so I definitely been here before, but not many people have had the opportunity to come in here. And there's a lot of neat rooms in here with a lot of history.
Yes.
And where a lot of big decisions are being made.
Yes.
And speaking of those decisions, you've been our city councilman now for Ward 3.
Ward 4.
Ward 4, thank you. Ward 4 for the last 4 years.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Tell us about why did you run for city councilman back 4 years ago, and why are you doing it again?
So, I was born and raised Southside Oklahoma City. Love South Oklahoma City, and I really just wanted to make sure that we had some good representation on council. I didn't run on it. I didn't run the election based on trying to make myself, super popular, being in the spotlight. That doesn't motivate me at all. But what I do really care about is the city, the citizens or residents of the city, and trying to make sure that South Oklahoma City is well represented. There's always kind of been that give and take between North and South Oklahoma City, and so I wanted to make sure we had someone that, at least in my opinion, was solid in there. And that's primarily why I run.
What were some of the experiences, for those of people maybe that might not know a lot about Mr. Todd Stone, what are some of the experiences growing up, whether it's professional, personal, that gave you that courage to run for city council? What is it that you thought you were bringing or that you brought to the table?
I can tell you one of my biggest life-changing experiences was I joined the Oklahoma Air National Guard out at Will Rogers, right?
Yes.
And at times, of course, I was like, why did I do that? But they taught me a lot.
Yes, sir.
A lot, and it really, I think it really helped me kind of understand a little bit about personal responsibility and those types of things. And that really helped kind of perpetuate my career in the business world.
Yes, sir.
So, I of course started out at the ground floor, but eventually I became a engineering manager.
Okay.
So with about 70 engineers working for me. And, I enjoy the business side of it. I don't believe that the government needs to be run like a business.
Okay.
But I believe that my business experience helps me when we're talking about budgeting, when we're looking at different types of forecasts, different types of data, especially with the engineering background. I'm always able to look at those maybe with a little different eye than if I didn't have that kind of experience.
Very good.
And then managing people, helps me to understand some of the implications of the decisions that we make.
Correct.
And the implications on the residences of Oklahoma City or the businesses in Oklahoma City or different things like that. So I try to, as we move through the government of Oklahoma City, I always try to look at it as what's the impact?
Sure.
What is that impact to that person that is, going to work every day or at their home every day and wants to see their quality of life improve? Because for me, it's about trying to make sure that as the city improves,
Yes, sir.
it needs to improve for everybody. And not just the select few or not just a certain area. Quality of life has got to improve for everybody.
And it's a great point, and it's a great mission to have.
Thank you.
What have we done in the last 4 years to get there?
To improve the quality
Yes,
of
sir.
life. Well, I tell you, just talking about Ward 4 a little bit.
Yes, sir. And tell us a little bit about what area are we talking about
Okay,
when we
so
talk about Ward 4?
We start up in Capitol Hill.
Yes, sir.
From Capitol Hill, we go south, and we also go east.
Okay.
The farthest south we go is Indian Hills Boulevard.
Okay.
The farthest east we go is all the way out to Pot County.
How far does Indian Hills Boulevard go? It's south of I-240?
Oh, yes, it's way south. It's
Way south of I-240.
south of 164th.
Oh.
The numerical number for Indian Hills, I always
yeah.
call it Indian Hills. I
Yeah,
think it's
yeah, yeah.
178th or something like that.
That's pretty far down there.
It's a long ways down there.
Okay.
But so it starts at Capitol Hill, goes all the way down there, and then goes from, I think my farthest west boundary is Western Avenue,
Okay.
and then goes all the way to Pot County, and there's a little finger that actually sticks into Pot County,
Very
so
good, very
almost all the way to Shawnee.
Okay.
Lot of room. It's geographically, it's a huge area.
Yeah.
A lot of diversity in Ward 4, which
Yes,
I
sir.
absolutely love. I think Ward 4, I'm biased, of course. It's my favorite ward. Just in terms of diversity, when you talk about ethnicity,
Yes,
or
sir.
you talk about geographically, or different needs and wants. So the people of Capitol Hill have different needs than the people living out by Pot
Yes, sir.
County.
Yes, sir.
And trying to balance those items, it's part of the challenge. but
Correct,
it's
correct.
one I welcome.
And so how have we improved the quality of life in the last 4 years? And maybe talk a little bit about what we want to do the next 4 years to continue in that mission to improve the quality of life.
So one of the things, after I got elected, one of the first things that happened was that Capitol Hill was selected for the S&I project, the Strategic Neighborhood Initiative. And it's something that the city, instead of trying to improve all the neighborhoods at one time, they figured out they weren't making enough impact in trying to spread it across the entire city. So what they do is they'll select a couple of neighborhoods that they want to try and focus on to rebuild, to re-beautify, to make sure that commerce is healthy in those areas, those type of things. And Capitol Hill was selected as one of those areas. And it's the city. One thing that I learned after getting elected is no matter how fast you want things to move, right? It never moves as fast as you want.
Sure.
But we have started seeing, some benefits of that. And I think over the next couple of years, we'll continue to see those benefits, specifically in the Capitol Hill area. And it's just a great thing for the neighborhood. It's worked for some of the other neighborhoods that were chosen previously, and I think it's going to work out well for Capitol Hill. So the Manuel Perez Park, which is a beautiful. That one is, I'm so excited about, and it's unfortunately in the times of pandemic, I don't think it's being recognized as wildly as it will be. Beautiful park.
Yes, sir.
Paying honor to our Medal of Honor recipients. It's fantastic. That one, to me, is fun because after I got elected, one of the first things I would do is I would drive through there of the Community Action Agency. We would have the meetings in there to talk about
civic group meetings?
What's this going to look like? What are we doing? Worked very closely with Miss Mary Sosa on that project.
That's right.
And I tell you, I saw the job that they were doing. And it was like, man, I need to just stay out of their way. and they did a fantastic job out there. Besides the paying homage to the Medal of Honor recipients, right? There's also some soccer fields, futsal, things like that going out there, basketball courts, and beautiful pavilion out there, which will be named after Mary Sosa.
Yes, that's wonderful.
So it's, I just absolutely love that place. You carry on down there, just south of Capitol Hill High School. We have the Senior Wellness Center there.
Yes.
Again, a fantastic facility. And I think that the use of that place is just going to continue to grow. Carry on south of that, down around 240 and Walker, we have the Oklahoma City Health Department, Oklahoma City Wellness Center.
Yes.
And that is really to just try to help improve the quality of life, the health of people that live in that area. And it's people that may not be able to afford to go see a doctor, or I don't know, for whatever reason, and they can go there and get some help that they need. So those kinds of healthy outcomes is something that I'm really excited about. I think there's going to be more coming in that area.
Well, we recently passed also in the last 4 years MAPS 4, which was quite an undertaking by the city.
Yes.
And talked about a lot of different projects that are going to be included in this next phase.
Yes.
What are some of the things that we'll be able to get to go to the south side?
The south side?
Or is that still kind of being negotiated?
It's going to be negotiated.
Do we have a place for the stadium yet?
That is being negotiated. That's all I can say.
It's like
I wish
we're in a private room. You can tell me.
I know.
Nobody's watching anyway.
I wish I could say more right now.
No, I understand.
I can't.
But you're telling me that we have a place, or it's still being negotiated.
It's still being negotiated.
Okay.
Still being negotiated. Potentially, there could be a place that I would be extremely excited about. I'll just leave it at that.
Very good, sir.
It's funny the back work on all those projects takes so long, but it's exciting, very exciting. It could be very exciting for South.
It's very exciting, and I want to congratulate you and the mayor, because I think you guys have done a good job of trying to include everybody or all the communities involved, get them involved in having a say-so on how we're going to move forward with these projects, and making sure that the Latino community, along with other communities, have a voice in who, what, and where all this will take place and how it will be spent. And so thank you for that. Thank you for that. That's important. You talk about, the community, you've grown up all your life in the South Side. It's changed.
Oh, absolutely.
It's changed.
It has.
What have you learned from this growing Latino community that maybe you didn't know 4 years ago? Besides the little baby Jesus in a cake.
Yes, I've had a couple of those. And I even hosted the Three Kings parties.
Yes, you did.
That was just fantastic.
And we thank you, by the way, because as you've made an effort to be there. Sometimes you don't know what the heck's going on, or what's being said, but you're still there, and you're there because you want to let our community know that you care, that you want to support.
Yeah.
Why is that important to you?
It's important to me to support all of our communities.
Yes, sir.
And there is no, in my mind, there's no like outlying community or, oh, this is a separate community, this is a different community. It's about all of our communities, and especially, especially near and dear to my heart is when we talk about our youth. And it's sometimes, let's face it, sometimes adults are in bad positions because maybe they made bad decisions.
Yes, sir.
But with our children and our youth, they are where they are, and they deserve every opportunity. I don't care where you live. I don't care your ethnicity. I don't care about anything. You deserve every opportunity that any other child in Oklahoma City gets. And for me, that's just and I start to, I get really excited talking about it. But for me, that's a really big deal.
It is. It's our future.
It is.
It's our future.
And it's, to me, that's how you can best enact change and best help different communities, different neighborhoods, and things like that. Another big thing for me, I'm on 9 other different boards, trusts, committees, things like that. I'm on the Economic Development Trust. And for me, that is huge because when we talk about our youth and when we talk about our communities, we got to have jobs.
Yes,
and the jobs we have got to be good paying jobs. And so I try to be as active as I can be in trying to help make sure that our citizens have good paying jobs they go to so that they can increase their quality of life.
Yes.
And I don't know, that's kind of my secondary area.
I want to talk a little bit more about your involvement with youth sports.
Okay.
Because I think that it is very important in helping our kids get the full experience and opportunities
Right.
As they continue to grow. And unfortunately, for many years, the South Side has lacked in that area. But thanks to collaborations between Fields and Futures, Energy Foundation, City of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma City Public Schools. And exactly. We're seeing a great transformation of many parks across south of Oklahoma City that are going to bring unique opportunities for our community. Talk a little bit about Southern Oaks Park and maybe other projects similar to that have really are making an impact in our.
Yeah. So, it's funny. Soccer is, it's the biggest international sport there is.
Yes.
I played soccer, and it's kind of strange. Back when I played soccer, it was kind of just starting out in the U.S. It was like, everyone's like, soccer, what? You kick the ball,
chase it. You can't use your hands.
Yeah, I can't use your hands. How do you do that? And but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the heck out of it. And then, seeing that transform down through my kids. My middle daughter ended up, she played soccer in high school, and then she played a little bit of college soccer. And so I have a real love for the sport, first and foremost. And, when I look at like Southern Oaks, and I see, man, this new soccer field's going in. And of course, Fields and Futures is doing it, which means it's going to be
first class.
A premier first-class operation.
Yes.
So when I see that going in, and I think about when I was a kid in grade school, and what did we do after school, right? We headed over to the field.
Yes.
And back then we were throwing the football around.
Yes.
Which, you can kind of, here's a field, we'll kind of make a football field out of it.
Correct.
When I see these soccer fields going in, I know that these kids, when they get out of school, they're like, hey, let's go over here and play some soccer, right? It helps them health-wise. It helps them mentally. It gives them something to do that's not a bad thing to do. And also prepares them later, where they can go, oh, hey, the school has a soccer team. Maybe I'll go out there and play with that soccer team and just have fun. And, I coached over at Bodine Elementary. I coached with the Police Athletic League for a couple years on the soccer team. And I got so much out of that.
Yeah.
I think I got more out of it than the kids did. Just seeing the excitement they had, playing in an organized sport, and watching them come out there to practice, and man, they're excited. And we'd practice like an hour and a half.
Yes.
And a lot of these students had to walk home after practice. And hour and a half, they had me worn out. And I'm like, okay, that's a good practice. And they're like, oh, no, can we extend it? We want to stay longer. And I'm like, well, gosh, am I not running you enough? Because I'm beat. But they had a ball with it, and I had a ball just being with them.
It's definitely a great way to instill great values in our kids. It's a way to keep them healthy. And it's a way to build community.
Yes.
And God knows we need all that
Yes.
Right now,
Absolutely.
especially with all that we're going through. But talk to me about, what do you think are some of the issues that you still consider very important that we have not been able to address yet? Whether it's safety, whether it's schools, whether it's whatever that you think the next 4 years will allow you to do.
So, for me, it's when we talk about community and bringing community together, that one of the first things that I look at that I don't know, I wish I knew what the answer was, but it's homelessness.
Yeah. Okay.
And there's a lot of theories. There's a lot of things the city is trying to do to help in those regards. I don't know how successful we're going to be yet, and that's scary. But it's a national problem.
Yeah.
It's like, if I had the answer to it today, man, I could solve a lot of problems. I don't know what the complete answer is.
Yes.
I know the city, like in MAPS 4, there's some further steps that we're taking.
Okay.
And I've worked with some groups that work with homelessness, and I applaud. I have so much respect for those different groups because the jobs that they do, and they're out there on a daily basis dealing with it, trying to help people get turned around. There's a lot of different factors. We're all individuals.
Correct.
We all need different things. Sometimes it's housing, sometimes it's someone to listen. It might be a drug issue, it could be a mental health issue, those types of things. So as MAPS 4 starts to really get going over the next 4 years, I'm really excited to see what kind of an impact that we can have there. And at the same time, I plan on continuing working with those groups and trying to say, hey, what is it that I can help you with to reach more people, to help more people get to where they need or want to be. So.
Excellent. Miriam Campos says, hey, Tango and Todd. Arturo Delgado says, hola. And
Awesome.
Patrick Stewart says, two great men having a great conversation.
Excellent.
Well, thank you very much. So I
Thank
appreciate that. And hello to everybody. And please feel free to ask us questions. We have the opportunity here with our city councilman for Ward 4. That's also in the middle of a campaign.
Yes.
Elections are?
February 9th.
Okay.
We're excited. We're working hard.
Uh-huh.
Every time I get, free time, I've been out knocking doors myself, and I'm enjoying the feedback that I'm getting from the community. It's kind of weird knocking doors.
Yes, sir.
So I keep my mask on. I step about 8 feet back
Yes,
from
sir.
the door, just trying to make sure that it's safe. And I know some people don't want to answer the door, and
Correct.
I'm perfectly fine with that.
Sure.
But it's it's something that the first door you knock the day, you just dread it. It's like, oh. And then usually after about the first or second door, I'm excited.
You did. Yeah.
And it just, talking to people and hearing about their love for Oklahoma City, their love for community, their love for each other, and seeing them, they'll ask questions of me. They will say, hey, we do have this problem over here you probably
Okay.
aren't aware of. Is there something you can do about that? And the answer isn't always yes,
Sure.
but I can certainly try to see what we can to do to alleviate issues.
What are some of those problems that you maybe hear on a regular basis, and how do you think we can address them?
So, streets. Sports is a big
okay.
one. And, you know, I plan on trying to keep the city focused on, we do that survey every year, right? The number one issue every year is streets.
Streets.
We're seeing actually a little bit of improvement in that survey. But we're a big city. We're 620 square miles. We've spent more in the last year on streets than we ever have in our history. I want to try and keep that moving along. We've seen some benefits there. A lot of people have noticed benefit. I do get, you know, they give me credit for that. I don't know how much credit I deserve, but things like that have been big. I talked to some people the other day off of, where were we at? Off Bryant.
Okay.
Elementary school, and they're like, you know, the traffic gets backed up. It's a 2-lane road in front of the school. People are driving in the oncoming lane, trying to get around the school pickup line. Meanwhile, you've got kids playing Frogger back and forth across the street. And they're like, hey, you know, is there something we can do to get an additional lane here, just for safety? To me, that's a big deal. That's one that I plan on diving into. Certain areas around schools where sidewalks aren't present, where they really need to be. Those are things that are on the top of my list. So,
anybody have concerns about safety, crime?
Yeah, crime.
What do we? I know that you were recently endorsed by
FOP.
Who is that?
FOP.
FOP.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think needs to happen to help make the improvement of safety in our community?
So I think there's a lot of things that we're working on that could help that.
Okay.
You know, Councilman Cooper brought up the community policing thing that we're looking into. I'm on the police task force myself, and it's a huge group. I think there's 45 of us, approximately, and what we're trying to do is to figure out, you know, how the police can better interact with all of our communities.
Excellent.
And I think that's key.
Yes.
I think that is really key.
Relationships.
Yes, to have those relationships and know that, hey, you know, I can report an issue to the police and not have to be worried about any kind of ramifications on my end. And just really building those relationships within the community. I think that's something very important. I'm very proud that the FOP endorsed me. I have the utmost respect for our men and women in uniform, and believe me, the jobs that they have to do, I don't want to do.
Correct.
So they go out, they have a calling, you know, they'll go out, they do a lot of good things. Can they be better? Absolutely.
Yes.
We can all be better. I mean, all of us every day should wake up and say, what can I do today to be better? Same thing with our police force, same thing with our city. So I'm actively involved in, hopefully, what eventually is going to bring about some changes that will help us to interact better with all the communities.
Very good. Yeah, you know, we want to say hello to Captain Beto Valderrama, who's taking on this task of helping build relationships, of building better and stronger relationships with the Latino community through his work at the police department. He's doing an excellent job. He's off to a great start. And so I know that there are very intentional meetings and conversations taking place on how to better work and build trust in the communities, and that's always great. It's always good to have people that also understand a little bit of your story and maybe your language in some of the cases for the Latino community. How important is it? I saw that you recently hired a diversity and inclusion through the city. Correct?
Yes.
How important is to have diversity at all branches of our government?
Well, it's extremely important. I mean, we represent all different ethnicities, different communities, different areas of the city, again, with different wants, needs. And if we don't have diversity in the government, then it really makes that task, you know, extremely hard. And that hire, you know, for a chief diversity officer I think it's extremely important because to me, their task is to kind of be that voice in the back of everyone's
Yes.
mind going, hey, where's this community at? Where is this community at? Where is this community at? And, you know, we're seeing on city council, we're seeing more diversity.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes.
You know, and I hope that continues to grow.
Yes,
and
sir.
I think the biggest thing that we've really seen the last couple of years is on our different boards, committees, trusts. We're seeing a lot of diversity, a lot of South Side inclusion in those.
Yes.
And it's, you know, those are a great way for preparation of our future leaders.
Correct.
You know, Miriam, I serve with her on some things, right?
Yes.
And it's like, it makes me very proud to see her doing those types of
Yes.
things, because I'm like, man,
Yes.
you know, when she
She's a
gets
sharp
ready,
lady.
when
Yes.
she gets ready, you know, she's going to be a force to be reckoned with, and I love it. Absolutely love it. So
That's wonderful. Hello to Dora Evans, who says, what is your agenda focus to address equity in Oklahoma as we continue to be more diverse?
as we continue, I think there are a lot of different areas of equity.
Okay.
And I would say that my main area of focus is more probably on the socioeconomic side.
Okay.
Right? When we talk about things like minimum wage, I'm very open on that.
Okay.
There's actually a group in Oklahoma City called Wage Up.
Okay.
They asked me for a meeting. I said, yeah, absolutely. And before I met them,
Yes.
I was like, well, I don't know
Yeah,
if I'm really
yeah,
open to this
yeah.
idea. But the way that their vision for how to enact that,
Okay.
I thought was absolutely beautiful.
Okay.
For instance, there's a lot of talk, let's raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. I have some concerns if you just do that across the board with like high school kids' part-time jobs,
Yes.
right? Where someone can say, man, I could use a kid in here to learn, but I don't know that I can pay $15 an hour for it.
Correct. Correct.
So what they kind of did was they kind of did this sliding scale. The $15 doesn't start while you're in school.
Okay.
It starts as you start to progress more
Okay.
into your adulthood.
Okay.
And I kind of like that.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes.
And I actually I kind of signed up with them and said, yeah, I'm a supporter of this plan.
Yes. Yes.
So for me to see something like that is huge. Unfortunately, that's got to happen at the state level.
Yes.
But I'm definitely interested in kind of pushing to try and make that happen.
That's great.
So, and again, on the socioeconomic side, it's about opportunity and having those jobs available. Seeing more facilities on the south side for our youth. One of the things I was a big proponent of in MAPS 4 were the youth centers. I went and talked to some kids at Southeast High School.
Yes.
And their biggest hope out of MAPS 4 was a youth center. They wanted a place they could go to after school, hang out with their friends, do homework, maybe sports, maybe arts,
Sure.
all those things, maybe STEM.
Yeah.
They wanted to do a place they could be safe after school to kind of try and follow along with some of those things. And so I was a big proponent of that in MAPS 4.
Okay.
And believe me, I will be a big proponent of getting one of those in Ward 4.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. Because yes, I mean, those are all needs. Unfortunately, a lot of the Ys and boys clubs and things of that nature aren't in the South Side.
Right.
They're everywhere else,
Yes.
but not in the South Side. And for whatever reason, I know, it's been a changing community and it's had its ups and downs. But I see good trends moving forward.
Yeah.
More people are looking into investing in Southside Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
Around different business districts. What are we doing to attract more businesses? And how do you make sure that we don't maybe gentrify that community?
So gentrification
Yes, sir.
is I could talk for hours on this
Yes.
topic. It's, when you when you improve something,
Yes, sir.
it becomes more valuable,
Mhm.
right? And so you really have to kind of, I think, watch how you do that. In that we want to, let's take Capitol Hill, for instance.
Yes, sir.
We want to beautify Capitol Hill. When you do that, more people want to live in that area,
Correct.
right? And more businesses want to come into that area. Well, all of a sudden, those real estate prices will start to creep up a little bit. But you know, the character of those neighborhoods should never be lost.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
That's, I mean, my view of South Oklahoma City is it's a beautiful view.
Yes, sir.
And there's a lot of working class families in South Oklahoma City, of which I am one. And, you know, that should never be lost.
Okay.
I mean, I wear that with a badge of honor. So when you talk about gentrification, to me, it's about keeping the character of the neighborhoods, which I'm all for. I'm for the beautification.
Yes.
And I'm for helping our citizens out in those areas that are less fortunate. I'm for bringing in business.
Okay.
I need to stop by La Confection
Yes.
sometime today because I've got to pre-order
Your Valentine's.
my Valentine's.
You're a smart man.
What a fantastic place.
Yes.
They baked the cake for my daughter's wedding.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it was,
She's a great baker.
it's
Yes.
unreal.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not a wedding cake guy at all. My wife brought it home to try a sample, and I'm
Yeah.
like, okay. I sampled it. I was like, then I ate the whole sample, basically a big old tin of it, and yeah, I got to stop by there. But you know, seeing little businesses like
Yeah.
that sprout up in there
Yeah.
is a lot. It brings commerce to the area. It brings people into the area to say, wow, this is kind of a neat area. It's coming back.
Speaking of small businesses, what are we doing to help small businesses right now during these difficult times?
Yeah, so the CARES Act, I am very, very proud of how the city has, and it wasn't because of me, it wasn't because of city council necessarily, but you know, our finance group, Kathy O'Connor's the Alliance, they really spearheaded hey, what are we going to do with the CARES Act dollars? And one of the first things we reached out to said, we got to help these small businesses.
Yes.
They don't have the cash flow. They don't, you know, they're sometimes new. And if it's a new business, it's typically a struggling business
Yes.
trying to get by and figure out their niche and how to grow. And so, you know, providing the dollars to that, I thought was instrumental. And then the way the groups came together and came up with really good ideas on how to do it and how to help those that are most impacted, I thought was just, I mean, I applaud them from the council
Yes.
all the time, you know, because that's where those, I mean, it's the CARES Act, right? That's what it's called, the CARES Act. And whether we've been able to help individuals,
Yes.
businesses, places where there's performing arts, event centers, those types of things that we know were most impacted.
Is this the fund where we ran out of funds and now we got some more funds? Or is that a different program that I heard there was some more money
Right, so
being allocated?
there is some more money getting allocated. Also, they extended the deadline.
Okay.
Originally, the deadline was going to be December 30th, had
Correct.
to be spent. And sometimes it's hard to spend all that responsibly
Okay.
in that short of a time frame. So there were concerns about that. Now that's been extended. It looks like there's some more funds available, which is great
Yes, sir.
because we're still in the pandemic.
Yes.
And you know, it's hopefully it's very soon going to start looking better and better and better as we get more vaccines out there and that type of thing. But you know, it's going to take a while to get us back up again. So,
How do you feel we're doing there in that side of the pandemic?
on the pandemic,
The health side of it. The mask. I just saw that you passed another
mask extension.
mask extension, and,
So-
and even included some new areas that you're making mandatory, indoor public areas.
Right.
That we all must wear a mask. Does that include gymnasiums
As far as I know,
or public gyms? I'm sorry, like school gyms.
well, schools, no, we don't have any authority
You don't
over
have authority
school
of that.
grounds.
Okay.
We don't have authority over school grounds, county buildings. I believe I saw
Okay.
correct me if I'm wrong, President Biden just announced that all federal buildings now you must wear a
okay,
mask.
okay.
So before, we had
No,
nothing we
sure,
could do over
sure.
there. I'm gladdened to see the very latest numbers that are coming out, because it looks like it's
Plateaued a little bit?
plateaued or starting to even decline a little
Okay.
bit. It's too early to say that
Yeah.
it's declining, but it's just seeing that a little bit instead of it the other way
Sure.
is nice. Is that because of the vaccine? I don't know. Is it because more people are wearing masks? I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's good to see.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can now start that downward trend. We'll get some more vaccines.
I also
in.
think there's less pressure of getting together for holidays and
Yes.
for.
Well,
you know,
that's
yeah.
a good point. It's
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
we're seeing that holiday kind of bubble that they knew we
Yes.
would have. Maybe we're seeing it curtail a little
Correct.
bit. But whatever the reason, it's great news. I'll take it. And with the vaccine, hopefully it will just continue to trend down until finally one day we say, you know what? We don't have to wear masks. We can, and
I think most of my friends are going to prefer me to keep my mask on.
Well, that's a good
But
Yeah, likewise. But yeah, it's good. Hopefully, it continues that way. And it's so amazing, like just being able to be around people.
Yes, sir.
And how exciting that is. And man,
it's
being able
important to the South Side.
It is. It is. I mean, it's like you almost. We've been going through this so long. It's like you almost don't even realize it until
Yes.
you kind of get back in a group, and you're like, "Wow, I haven't seen these people in so long, and I've really missed them."
And real quick, 'cause time is running out.
Okay.
But there's definitely still issues in our city, and race in the world, around the world of race relations.
Yes.
Or the issue of race relations. How have you, through your experience, been able to improve on that? And what is your recommendation for others that maybe are too afraid or concerned about the changing community that we see today?
So, for me, with race relations, specifically in Ward 4, I try to always be available. And I try to always be available to different groups,
Yes, sir.
to different people. And sometimes, to be honest, I might not be the most comfortable in there. But you know what? I look at, I don't know, I look at the Hispanic community,
Yes, sir.
and I look at some of the relations that I have within that community, and it's like, man, they're as good as friends as I have, And they also have afforded to me, we
Yes.
talked about the Three
Yes.
Kings, right?
Yes.
To come to those kind of events, which I wasn't even aware of.
Correct.
And to participate and even host one. And, those types of things mean so much to me. And just forging those relationships
Yes,
with
sir.
each other and trying to at times say, I need to, I might have a conversation that's uncomfortable for me
Yes.
to have.
Yes.
I need to stretch myself and at times say, why don't you be a little uncomfortable, but have that conversation. Do those types of things
Yes, sir.
that really, I don't know,
Help break down barriers,
yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
Stereotypes.
It just makes us all more comfortable with each other, where we can have real conversations and talk about, real issues.
Correct.
So-
Correct. It's important.
It is
It's important.
very important.
So it's about breaking bread together.
Yes.
It's about sitting down, having coffee.
Yes.
It's about trying to walk in somebody else's footsteps.
Right.
To understand.
To understand where they're coming from.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that is, to me, that is so important. And there's things, I've got to say, in the last 4 years, there's a lot of, I won't say a lot of things, there's some things like I've realized, where all of a sudden it's like someone took the blinders off, and I went, wow, that is something that I just never thought about.
Correct.
It wasn't something I disagreed with, or it's just something I didn't know.
Correct.
Never thought about it. And all of a sudden, it's like a little light bulb goes off in your head, and you're like, man, okay, what can I do to influence that? What can I do to try and influence that in a positive way? So,
And to close our program today, who are some of those Latino leaders that you get to work with on a regular basis? And why should the Latino community believe in Councilman Todd Stone's leadership?
So, man, some of those community leaders, I'll start with some dear friends.
Yes, sir.
Yourself, Brenda, Miriam, are all people that, we've broken bread together. We've talked city issues. Gloria Torres,
Yes.
on the school board. She's been just a fantastic help to me, and is someone that she's a confidant that I can always go to and ask advice or opinions. And she knows she can always come to me with any issues that she thinks maybe that I can help with.
Yes, sir.
That type of teamwork is it's been great for our whole community. Arturo Delgado.
Oh, yes. Some of the
guy.
best meetings.
This backyard is magical. It's magical. It really is. I've been there a lot.
Yes, sir.
And I see the community leaders like that. There's others, that I know are there that I can mention that I've met with.
Yes, sir.
Maybe not personal friends with Raul Font.
Yes.
Different people like that. You're just like, man, that's amazing.
And to close, why should this community?
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Trying to remember the second half of that.
Yeah. Why should this community support?
Well, I mean, I hope that they realize that I definitely have their best interests in mind.
Okay.
It's not. I don't run for this ward because I have further political aspirations. I don't.
You're not running for governor someday?
No, I'm not running for governor. I'm not running for mayor. I'm running for Ward 4 City Council. And that is exactly where I want to be, and that is where I think I can do the most good. And that's what I'm interested in. I don't get up on the bully pulpit, and I try to get my work done in the background.
Yes.
So if I'm trying to negotiate something,
Yes, sir.
I don't get up there and point the light at me on city council. I try to get all that done in the back, and just having good one-on-one conversations and trying to understand other people's point of view, and hopefully be able to share with them my point of view, and hopefully we can come to an understanding, and it helps business flow. I want to make sure that City Council stays focused on city issues.
Yes.
There's, a lot of people want to bring national agendas in that create, in my opinion, divisiveness within our city.
Yeah.
And I want to, what is the city's job? What do we take care of? Well, streets, right? Potholes. Everyone hates potholes.
Sure.
It's nonpartisan. I always say that. Potholes are nonpartisan. Let's fix the potholes. Let's make sure that we all have good water to drink.
Yes.
Let's make sure that our trash gets picked up when
Yes.
it's supposed to. Let's make sure our tree limb debris gets picked up in a timely manner. I've had a lot of door knocking over tree limb debris. Just different things like that. I want to make sure the city stays focused on its core mission, and then besides that, as the city improves and grows, and we talk about quality of life, I want to make sure that as the city does improve, that it improves for all of its citizens.
Yes, sir.
Not those in a particular segment of town or that make a particular amount of money. It needs to be spread out across the board.
Talk about you couldn't do this without the support of your family.
Oh, no.
I mean, it's tough.
It is.
It would be tough otherwise.
It really is.
Almost impossible. Talk to us about your wonderful family and how supportive they've been through this process.
Oh, absolutely. So first, I'll start off with Marianne, my wife.
Yes.
We've been married for 37 years.
That's awesome.
And she is, man, how do I describe her? It changes a lot. She's my rock. She keeps me grounded.
Yes, sir.
If I ever start to feel too good about myself, she'll make sure and calm me down real quick.
Yeah.
But she, she drives me a lot.
Yes.
She'll say, hey,
Let's go.
you got 15 minutes free. Why aren't you out knocking doors? So she helps me a lot in those ways.
That's awesome.
And, she I've got 3 kids, and she did a fantastic job raising those 3 kids,
Yes.
and she put a lot of work into that. My oldest daughter, Erica, she runs my campaign. She ran my last campaign.
Awesome.
She's kind of the brains, I think, behind it. And, you know, she's got 4 boys. She also works. I don't know how she finds the time to do all this stuff that she does. But she does a fantastic
Yes.
job. Emily, my middle child, she has helped out on the campaign, whether it's signs or door knocking or things like that. And, man, she was my soccer star that I got to live through vicariously. And, you know, she's a real gem. And then my son, Shane,
Yes, sir.
used to be State House Representative for
Yes,
District
yes,
89.
yes.
Now Jose's in there.
Yes.
And I think he will do a fantastic job.
So we're all hoping and praying for it.
Yes, yeah.
I know he will. We know
Yes.
he will.
I have no doubts that he will. We were excited to see him get that seat because that
Yes.
area has a very special meaning for all of us.
Yes, yes.
And but Shane, he's out in Scottsdale, Arizona
Wow.
now, working for the city of Scottsdale,
Man.
and you know, loving it.
Loving
and he's always good for advice. You know, a lot of times I'll call Shane, hey, what do you think of
Yes.
this? And we will compare. Like I'll ask him, you know, what's Scottsdale doing on this topic, or what are some things they're doing
Sure,
here,
sure.
and vice versa. And we'll
Yes.
sit there and talk about some things. So it's almost that's been pleasant because it's like I almost have another city I can
Correct.
sit
Yeah,
there and try and
yes,
draw
yes.
ideas from. So
It's always good to learn from other places.
Absolutely.
What they're doing, or anywhere, what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's always, but of course, every community is unique. It has its own challenges.
It is.
So, but there's some things that I'm sure are very helpful. So how can folks help you, support you, if they were interested in doing so?
So go to Stone, STONE, the number 4, OKC.com. You can request a yard sign. You can reach out to us, contact us with any questions. You can donate there on the donate button. Just about anything you want to do there. If you reach out, then believe me, I'll be contacting you back.
Excellent.
That's one thing I've really tried to do for all 4 years is when someone calls me or texts me or sends an email, I try to always follow up with them. I know I haven't been 100%. I think I've been 99, 98%. Because some of those I'll go start working on it, get lost. But that's one thing that I've really tried to do is to be open. A lot of my campaign literature has my personal cell phone number on it. And it's fun because people will call me, and when I answer it, you know, there's silence for about 5 seconds, and they go, "Oh, it's really you," and it's like, "Yeah, it's
Yes,
me." And hey, guess what? You're in Oklahoma City, then my phone should always be open for you.
Awesome.
And if I don't answer it, then please leave a voicemail so I can follow back up with you. But I try to always answer it.
That's great. That's great. And so the elections are February the 9th.
Yes, sir.
And there's several people that are running for different positions. So we recommend everybody to please take the time, do your homework, do the research. Again, we wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you.
Best of luck, and we thank you for all the work that you've done so
you.
far to help represent and build South OKC. And any last words that you want to share with your viewers?
You know, just get out and vote. Exercise that right to vote. It's important, no matter who you
makes a
vote for.
difference, doesn't it?
It does, especially in municipal
Yes,
races.
sir.
You know, municipal races affect your daily life more than any other race.
Yes, sir.
And those core things that the city takes care of are very important. So please get out and vote.
Very good. Well, folks, thank you very much for tuning in. We thank you for your time. We ask you to please feel free to like and share this video. I'm sure there's many people that maybe want to learn more about Mr. Todd Stone, and we'd love for them to have this opportunity. We thank you for watching, and we'll see. This program runs on Tuesdays and Thursdays most of the time, and I have to say, though, they're mostly in Spanish because my mission is to help bring information of this magnitude, of this importance, to our Latino community, and so we do it as best as we can in Spanish. But we also
great.
love this opportunity to do it in English as well, and so we thank you, Councilman Todd Stone,
Thank you.
for having meeting with us today.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you next time. Adios. Hasta pronto.